Judge, if you're on there, just let me know that you can hear Tom and I.
I had a nice pair of channel locks like that at one time. I don't know what happened to them.
My dad, when my dad was in the last couple of years of his sickness.
Oh, really?
He would go on days that he felt good. He would go up at the lake, like, you know, there was an Ace Hardware.
Right.
You know, whenever he left the lake house and
Uh-huh.
got onto Horseshoe Bay, and he would go in and he would piddle and he would just buy stuff like that. So.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I met Donnie Liskett today. How older is he than you? Like 10, 15 years?
Probably.
Emery John's age or Emery's age?
Probably 10 years older than me.
So he's like Emery's age then.
Donnie's a good dude.
Yeah. He came in there by himself and he sat with us. Shelby told me he sold his company.
Yes, his two nephews bought it. Donnie knows what he's doing. He's a good contractor. And the county jerked him around before I got here. And
really?
Yeah. And finally he said, I'm just not going to bid on any else crap because
right.
You didn't ever see how commissioner's court used to go. It was crazy.
Well, we were talking about these kids' work ethics now. He said they don't get summer interns like when you were younger and all. He said he started working at 16. Daddy pulled him on the job for a bridge in Yorktown. These kids now, they were talking about spring break. We never went to spring break or anything. How to work. It's totally different.
Ugh.
That's better.
Judges, can y'all hear us? Can y'all hear us, Russell?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear everybody. Everybody looks lovely. Where's Judge Ellison?
I've not talked to Lynn.
Okay, now I can hear. I'm sorry. My speakers weren't working. I may turn my video off here in just a second. My lunch was delivered late, and I'm going to be eating while AgriLife grilled ribeyes.
Oh,
wow.
you poor thing.
I know it's terrible,
really?
and they were late getting it done. I told them I had a meeting at 1 o'clock, so just a little while ago they brought me mine.
I suffered through convenience store pizza, so
Oh gosh,
thank you. Thank you for letting me know that, Judge.
you're welcome. And I've already started
A protein bar to. Okay, I can't, damn it. It's been Monday for about 2 weeks.
I feel your pain, Judge.
All right, I'm unable to download the docket, the agenda and the minutes.
I don't have them either.
Let me try download all and see what that does. Somebody's trying to check in. Let me see if that's Lynn or, yes.
Russell, if you download them, can you shoot an email to me with those attachments? Are you close to your computer where they can do that? And I'll print them real quick for Tom and I.
I can't even download them right now.
Did you see Jennifer?
I can see them, but
I'm saying anything, just a meeting invite.
Yeah, I didn't never see the attachments come with it.
Maybe Rick has them.
Rick, do you have them?
okay.
Hold on.
I know what the problem is. Okay, I got about 20 copies open. Okay, let me move this over here. I'll just leave it. It's moved now. I had shut this second monitor off so that I wasn't being silhouetted by it, but I still had my PDF program open on it. So every time I hit download, it was opening up a copy on my PDF program, which it was displaying on the second monitor, which being shut off, I couldn't see. So at least I know what the answer was. All right. And has everyone had a chance to, well, let me go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'll call the meeting of the Karnes and Wilson Juvenile Boards to order. I say that, I hit admit for Lynn, but I guess he had to come back in. Okay, hold on. There he is. Okay, I'll call the meeting of the Karnes and Wilson Juvenile Boards to order. Note that we have a quorum. All 4 members are present. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes? I have not. But
I have.
Fine.
I have them printed, but I don't have them to where I can share screen.
Oh, okay. Let me, no, I've got a copy here and let's see. Judge Hedke had asked for them. Let me post these to everybody. Save them. All right.
They're talking about me.
Okay, I've posted the agenda in the previous minutes in the PDF format. All right, so let me know when everyone's had a chance to review them, or have you already?
I've already reviewed the minutes.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
I'll move to approve the minutes from the December 15th, 2020 meeting and the December 28th, 2020 meeting.
all right, and do we have anybody taking minutes? Mr. Rios, are you doing that, or is there somebody?
Yeah, sure. Yes, I can do that. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine, or if you want to get somebody to sign on right quick. Whichever way you want to do it. I guess it's your first one of these, so.
Yeah, it's definitely, so I'm a little unfamiliar with what the
Okay.
process is supposed to be.
All right, so that was a motion by Judge Jackson, and a second by Judge Hedke, or?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, all in favor, aye? Aye.
Aye.
Let me go back here. All right. But it has down
And I
as
apologize,
executive.
Judge. What am I supposed to sign on?
Oh, nothing. Just if typically what Neva would do is that she would be on Zoom and then she would have somebody else that works there sign
Oh.
into the meeting on a different computer.
Gotcha. Let me get a secretary to sign in.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
While we're doing that, let me ask, think we're going to need to go into executive session? Yes? Okay.
What's going to be the subject matter?
It says discuss the TJJD Title IV-E program compliance audit findings and the findings of the grant A and B Q3 for the fiscal year.
Okay.
Why is that authorized to be in executive session?
And I was about to call that up.
I just called it.
I mean, on my computer.
I'll call it up. That's fine. I'm
Yeah.
saying, I'm questioning it. I'm not saying it shouldn't be, but nothing flashes to my brain that would authorize it. Not in that generality. Okay.
Right. Pull up the Open Meetings Act handbook. It's the easiest way to get to it sometimes.
And Judge, I apologize. I got a secretary coming over to take the minutes.
Okay.
By the way, Judge Jackson and Judge Hedke, it's really nice to see you. I will be in one or both of your counties next week, and definitely the week after that. I think I'm in one or both of your counties. So
We'll welcome you with open arms.
I was gonna ask you, can I get a hug?
perhaps I'll be able to take a moment and at least stop by and give you a fist bump in person, or whatever the proper protocol is now. I'm not sure what it is with everybody crazy taking masks off and so forth. And while y'all are with me, just
Okay.
as an aside, while y'all are with me, I'll announce my health protocols from the bench the morning that I'm there. They're pretty simple, but we're not going to get into that. So I look forward to seeing y'all. And Mr. Dupnick, same to you. I'm, maybe I'll get a chance to talk with you in person too. So, and frankly, I'm looking forward to it. I'm ready to go see some folks, good or bad. I'm ready to go see them. Okay.
Just a general. Doesn't have to be
All
one.
right.
And then we'll have to type them and then submit them.
If you were to lose the seal on a window, let's say a micrometeoroid punctured a window, the air inside is going to equal the air outside. And so the air inside would escape, and the air outside would enter.
Bluetooth mode.
Okay, so what? Subchapter D, 551.071 of the government code.
That is what we use on anytime we have to go to an executive session for personnel matters. That's the one that we use, Judge Wilson.
Yeah, but if this is about a personnel discussion, you need to make it clear on the agenda.
Yes.
Rick,
I don't
is
have any-
it necessarily a personnel, or is it specifically in regards to that specific grant?
It's about the grant. And
Right.
about the person.
Yeah.
Is it about wrongdoing by an employee or?
No, it's the department.
Okay. All right.
Didn't understand.
I agree. I just looked at the statute. I don't know. One, it does need to be more, say personnel and be more specific. I don't know. I don't know what we're discussing. So it's pretty limited what you can go in the executive session over. It's usually litigation, personnel matters, and contracts, buying or selling real estate.
Right. Well, it would be personnel matters.
Okay, and well, I mean, personnel matters in that something's being discussed about an individual employee that would be detrimental to their character if it got out. And
Yes, sir.
okay, look at the agenda.
And I don't know, like on our agendas, on our commissioner court agendas, we typically have a catch-all at the bottom if something like this ever does come up, but I don't know that it's on here.
I don't see it, and I'm not sure how much good those catch-all things do. They give you a fig leaf, so you can say you're
Right.
deliberately violating the law. I'm not sure
Yeah,
that they do a
that's-
whole lot more.
We don't use that for that reason specifically.
And, all right, so Mr. Rios, I guess I'll ask that we're gonna have to, if we need to do that in executive session, we'll need to reschedule it. And back when I was county attorney, the example I would give the commissioners as far as how specific you need to be under personnel matters, if you're discussing changing the paternity leave policy, personnel matters is probably good enough. If you want to fire the police chief You can't put personnel matters on the agenda and then fire the police chief in executive session or discuss doing it. You got to make sure it's clear enough that the police chief knows, hey, they're talking about firing you. So he and his supporters or her supporters can show up.
Absolutely. Okay, I understand. It wasn't about firing anybody, but I understand.
Okay, so let me go back to our agenda. Another time I'd ask also, let's.
Oh, one second, Judge.
Go ahead.
Judge Wilson, just one second. Mr. Rios, I've had a hard problem understanding Mr. Rios, the last couple of responses he's made, and I hear everybody else just fine. So my connectivity isn't the best, and it just said my internet connection is unstable. But Mr. Rios, you've cut out a couple of times here, and I couldn't catch exactly what your response was to Judge Wilson saying if you're going to take some type of negative personnel action against an individual, you need to state that it's what's going to be discussed.
Yes, sir.
And then you had a response, and then I didn't. I'm sorry, what?
Yes, sir. I had said that he had mentioned that it would be about firing, and I said it wasn't in reference to firing an individual.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I mean, look, we're just protecting everybody. Okay, it's not, and I know Judge Wilson's used to it. I'm used to open meetings things, and Judge Jackson and Judge Hedke, and this is all new to you, and so it's okay. I just, I'm having been a former prosecutor who was responsible for prosecuting people who violated the Open Meetings Act and Open Records Act. I tend to be pretty cautious about it. Okay, I'd be really embarrassed if I ended up being myself the subject of something that was being looked into by the Rangers and possibly the Attorney General's office. And being a good law-abiding citizen, that's not the way I want to live my life. Okay, so or trying to be a good law citizen. So we're just being extra cautious. That's all. And I don't know where you can get your legal advice with regard to figuring out exactly how to word it or anything. I guess from the county attorney, district attorney.
Hopefully the county attorney, and I just posted a copy of the minutes from one of the meetings last year, just to give you an idea of, or rather that's the minutes. I need to give you the agenda. I'm sorry. To show you how we'd put stuff on the agenda.
Gentlemen, I am sorry that I'm taking up so much of your time.
Hey,
no, it's good to see everybody. It's good to see you, sir. I hope things are going well. What'd you say, Judge?
I said we'll attribute it to growing pains, but growing is good.
Yeah. All right, give me so what is the next item? What's the first item on the agenda that doesn't need?
So it would be the Title IV program that we have. There were some findings with our grants A and T for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. There were just some things that came to light in reference to our budget items that I was going to just bring to your attention and let you know about the audit and how that went. And then the community service hours that our JPOs and I have discussed as alternatives for our use, that they'd be able to possibly do something else in reference to community service. Just a different option. Just wanted to run it past you all, so that way you could tell me what you think, whether it would be something that you would support or not support, or had any other ideas in reference to the community service.
Okay. So what is it?
So as far as the grant, for grant A, it turned out that there was a little bit of a discrepancy with one of our employees. No fault of her own. It seems like it wasn't reported in the fiscal year 2019-2020 that she was going to receive a raise. And I think what happened was that employee initially got a raise through a grant, doing some for a grant. Excuse me?
Wait.
So she ended up getting a 12% increase in her salary which according to TJJD, the grant went away and she didn't carry the responsibilities anymore. And I think what happened was she stayed with the raise that increased her salary 12%. Anything over 8% has to be reported and approved by TJJD. That didn't happen. So we are receiving a citation for the infraction, and we're going to be required to pay about $600 and change. I think it's the exact amount was $600.90 for the oversight. So that was one of the things that came out of that particular grant, the findings in the audit. There was another increase of 12% on another employee, but it was rectified because the employee was new and there was just a bump in salary because of his qualifications. So it did make that one acceptable in the eyes of TJD. So that's really the agenda item in reference to the grant. You know, just that one minor issue that we had where, you know, that employee was paid more. Now, we're obviously not going to take her salary and move it backwards. She does a great job. You know, she deserves everything that she's paid. But I think Neva's explanation with it was, you know, she was trying to get her to the same pay grade as other employees within the county that do the same amount of work. And in reference to the community service.
All right, and let's take that at one step at a time. All right,
Okay.
so we've had a report on that. Are there questions or discussions?
Yeah, I guess my main question, one question is so is the 12% pay raise still in effect? Is the employee still making the same that she was making before the grant ended, or before that pay rate or that pay, the money that supposedly disappeared? And if so, where's that money coming from? I'm just curious to sustain 12% pay increase.
Yeah, I think it was still coming from Grant A, the TJJD funds that was paid out of that. I think when the grant went away, you know, and I'm not really too sure where it, and I'm assuming me and Mr. Dubnik were trying to figure out that as well. You know, that was the only thing that we could figure that might have happened along with TJJD, because we're not sure how the increase came about. According to Neva, she says she contacted TJD about it, but the employee is still making that amount of money. You know, he went from 29,000 to 34,000.
So how long has the salary, how many months or how many pay periods, how long has the salary been paid since the money went away? And I guess the salary was supposed to decrease. How long has that been in effect, that the original money?
Yeah, I don't think it ever decreased.
No, I know, but I'm asking you I'm so confused by how juvenile probation departments are funded. I mean, a grant ended, that grant was used to pay an employee a certain amount of money. When that grant ended, then that salary amount has to disappear. And if the employee is still making that amount, then the same salary, then somewhere that money is coming from somewhere. So how long, what is the length of the period in months or weeks or years or whatever that the employee has been paid the $34,000, but the money is not coming from the original grant that funded that salary? How long has that been?
Like it was about a year, sir.
About a year? Okay, that's fine.
That's why anytime giving raises when they're specifically grant funded positions, you gotta be careful, because then you're hung with that. And that's why, you know, with, like, for example, my victim service, you know, I don't like doing that, because then you get yourself in a position like this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but Judge Hetke, I tell you right now, and I'm just going to be about as blunt as I can about it. What? Nobody paid that. Thought I'd paid it. Local offices are always scrambling for money. If they see on a tree there, they should grab for it, in my opinion, and make the best use of it that you can. And that might put the appropriators at the local level in a bind in the long run, but we can't blame them for. I didn't do it because I was afraid of the same thing that you're afraid of. Okay. I didn't have the guts when I was DA to go out and commit a lot of money from a grant to an employee, knowing full well when that grant went away, the employee would have to go away, unless all the commissioners' courts were in love with me and would go ahead and fund the position, which was rare to find. Usually I only had 3 and sometimes 4, but never 5 that were in love with me at any given time. So I didn't do it for the same reason that you don't like it. Okay. But I can't condemn some other office that does it. What you need, what you absolutely have to have in that situation is the person that is in charge of the office is perfectly transparent and open and above board with the commissioner's court and everybody, including the employee. And then when it gets time for a tough decision, okay, then blame can be spread appropriately or which could very, very well on the head of the office because you committed something to somebody and, you know, it just went away. And so I'm so sorry to see you go, but that's life. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's the only way you
I
can
agree
handle
with
it. You know,
I agree with you 100%.
and so the situation is I don't know who should have come to the commissioner's court or whomever and said, hey, this is our grant. And I know, and look, I know that the juvenile probation departments, they get money from all kinds of grants any given budget cycle. Okay. I'm assuming, I mean, I'm under that impression. And so it could be confusing. You might forget whatever the deal is. But the person that's in charge of that office needs to let whoever's going to pick up the leftovers, which if it's a commissioner's court of Karnes County or any other commissioner's court, let them know up front what I've got. And this is where I am. And this is the function that is really important. And this is the employee that's working really hard and earning that salary. And so what will you help us? And if the commissioner's court says no, then the commissioner's court says no. I guess in a way, Mr. Rios, I'm just kind of laying out a game plan for you as going forward in the future of making sure that everybody that needs to know knows what's going on in your office. Okay. And it may take some proaction on your part, maybe take a little bit more work, but that's the only way you can make it. That's the only way these days that people can function on the local level relative to getting money from wherever it comes from. And I think I might have got a little bit of money from the AG's office to supplement a victims assistance coordinator back when I was DA, but it wasn't an amount that would cause whoever was in that position, and I know who it was, to go, okay, well, I tell you what, you're working me too hard and I'm not going to work for minimum wage. And if I have to go back to minimum wage, I'm leaving. Okay. That's just the nature of the beast. So I wasn't going to say a word, but now I said too much for the whole meeting. So I agree with you, Judge Hedge. I don't like it. It can cause confusion. A lot of times the county auditors can help the office head be on top of everything and know exactly where you are and what needs to be done. And but I will also admit that the budget for a juvenile probation department is a completely different animal from the budget and the funding of that budget for any other county associated office. It's just a completely different animal. So my job was simple in that regard. Mr. Rios says your job may not be that simple in that regard because of how you're funded. Okay. All right.
Okay. The next item is, I guess, discussion is the findings of the grants A and T for the third quarter of 2020?
That was it. That was the
Oh, that was
third
both
quarter.
of them. Okay.
That was both.
Right.
It was a
That was it. Okay. I thought that was still Title IV. All right.
both grants, and that was the findings on the one.
And Ms. Chris, I had posted in chat, I don't know if you saw it, and hopefully you get a chance to download it, a copy of a previous agenda from, I think there's another county, but to show you the way we usually lay things out so we can tell items apart. And we don't have anything here as an action item today. So we're not going to be able to take action. We can certainly discuss and listen, but it has to affirmatively let the public know that the board may be taking action on something, and I'll let you see the language from the there. All right, so personnel and budget items for the upcoming year.
Yeah, so that was the item in question, having to do with personnel.
Okay.
Budget, I guess.
Okay, community service alternatives.
Yes, community service alternatives. So what our JPOs are proposing is that juveniles would be able to donate like canned goods and things of that nature for basically $1 would equate to 1 hour. So if they bring in $25 a month would be the cap, that would equate to the community service hours that they would have. Due to COVID, there's not a whole lot of places where they're able to go and do community service. A lot of facilities don't want any extra people even there. So that was one of the alternatives that one of our JPOs came up with as a thing to try to get the students or the juveniles some kind of community service.
Right, and you're breaking up. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's real muffled.
Okay, so for 25, like every dollar would equal out to an hour for their community service.
Where does that dollar come from?
It would come from the juvenile, sir. So they would donate like canned goods, and they would donate items, not necessarily money, but there would be items that they'd be required to bring in a receipt of what they bought, and it could go to something like the there's some kind of food agency in Lavernia that they could donate to, things of that nature. We talked about the food pantry, but I don't know that they take outside donations from the community. So in every month, there would be some kind of entity that we would try to partner with to provide some kind of donations, like Toys for Tots in November and December, and things of that nature.
And donating these canned,
So it would require,
donating these canned goods would be in lieu of community service hours.
Correct. That is correct.
so where do they get the money that a lot of the children that you have contact with, Mr. Rios, they don't have any way of having any money at all whatsoever.
Yes.
A lot of them are not. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm assuming they're like a lot of the juveniles that I saw on my juvenile docket. They're not quite mature enough to hold down a job. Okay.
Right.
Even if they are employable under the federal wage laws by age. Okay. They would have no resources to come up with the money to buy the can of green beans and get 50 cents credit or whatever. And so how does a situation with a child like that compare to a child that you will see occasionally who has ample resources to basically buy his or her way out of community service requirements and not face a possibility of a motion to modify disposition or something? I know full well that you would not get with the county attorney's office, I hope, and say, hey, we've had a child in this situation that simply cannot find appropriate community service. And by the way, they can't buy their way out, so let's file them. I know that wouldn't happen, but I'm still concerned about the who was the famous word, the famous person that it was. I don't know. He was some recent national leader who was always using the word optics. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that's concerned about that. I don't want some to be disadvantaged because they do not have the financial resources. And I also don't want someone to gain an advantage or be better positioned because they do have financial resources. Okay. I don't think money should be part of the process unless it is a court-ordered, statutorily authorized fee for something that is everyone's required to comply with. Okay, so whatever. That's my thoughts on it. Sure.
Okay.
I agree with Judge Ellison. I would prefer not to let them get out of doing anything.
Okay.
If we can't provide them a place where they can do their community service restitution, but I think that'd be better than letting some buy their way out. And,
Okay.
and actually, having to come up with $5 or $10 worth of canned goods that might impress somebody who has nothing a whole lot, if that means they're giving up soda waters or something to get it. But there's other kids that can pay that out of their allowance, and what their lesson they're learning is, I can buy my way out of trouble, or my parents' money can buy my way out of trouble.
Okay. Okay. It was just a suggestion.
I mean, it's not an agenda. It's not on an action item, so we can consider it again later.
Okay.
All right. Salary supplement for Tom Dupnick and Michelle Salinas.
Yeah, that was something that I guess was on a previous agenda. I tried to look into it, and you know what, I wasn't able to get an answer. I went to the county attorney to try to get some kind of direction on it, because that was before my time, so I wasn't really aware of it. And she was going to get back to me in an email, and it just didn't happen. And then it seemed like it was something that might be beyond me, in her opinion.
All right, where does that stand, Tom? Did we make a decision? Did we put it off? Did we ask for more information?
Y'all have the opinions from the attorneys, right? I think y'all are going to discuss this some more, Judge.
Wasn't Catherine Chapman gonna get us an attorney general's opinion or write an opinion for us, Lynn? Do you remember?
I don't remember that I ever received anything.
And the opinion had to do with whether the opinion had to do with whether or not you could get the money without Judge Wilson and not making it part of one of our salary orders. Okay. The other thing is that I was concerned about is are the other county auditors in our counties doing the exact same thing that Mr. Dupnick and his first chief assistant county auditor are doing, just as a part of their routine matters. And look, I'm all for paying people in the auditor's office everything we can scrape up for them. I guarantee you. Okay. But I don't want to be in a position to where there's not proper authorization for the, and I've said this before, where there's not proper authorization for the salary, for the supplement or the salary that's being paid. And then also I need to be able to figure out, somebody smarter than I am figuring out how we address that with the other county auditors if they're doing the exact same thing. Judge Wilson and I set salaries for, if they're doing the exact same thing for their counties, but only as a part of their routine.
Okay, my opinion and how this works, like Wilson County, our auditor is not contributing anything to Karnes Wilson juvenile probation. Compensation from, as far as I'm concerned, to Mr. Dupnick and his assistant, I would warrant that, just out of being fair. Of course, we'll be taking it from Wilson County and Karnes County to that, and Karnes County is already supplying the auditor. But as far as I'm concerned, in fairness, and I don't know about the legalities, I think that Mr. Dupnick and his assistant should get a supplement.
Why does the county auditor have to do what you're doing for the juvenile probation department, Mr. Dupnick?
They don't.
That's not being critical. I'm asking why are your services an imperative activity on your part to benefit the juvenile probation department? And
Judge, we have to submit the reports every month and every quarter to the state and to the other agencies for expenditures to get reimbursed, and then the quarterly recount as well. For each of the agencies.
do you know whether or not Ms. Barrera and look, this department may be the only one that's getting this. So do you know whether or not Ms. Barrera and our Jesus,
Crystal,
I have to use
yeah.
it.
I think Tracy
Crystal or
and then Tracy.
providing the same services for juvenile probation departments. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Or Judge, I believe Tracy does hers probably for Atascosa and Crystal does hers for Frio. The same reporting, if my understanding.
And are they getting supplements?
That's what I believe.
Are they? Do you know if they're getting supplements or not, Mr.
No, they're not getting, no, not that I'm aware of. No, I'm not aware of any supplements they're getting.
Okay. All right, so I guess we'll have to have that on the agenda for next time, and
Somebody needs to follow up and get.
I'll follow
some
up with Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Well, the county
Oh,
attorney.
Jennifer
there.
Dillingham.
Dillingham, yes.
Yeah. Okay. We have a Jennifer too, and we say Jennifer.
Right.
That's what pops into my brain. So, and so Judge Wilson, I volunteer you to contact the auditors in those other two counties and find out definitely whether or not they're getting supplements for the same activity that Mr. Dupnick is performing. No, I'm Mr. Jackson, Judge Jackson. I'm not really doing that. But
Okay, yeah, let's wait and see what
I
the
will
answer
try.
is.
If somebody will write me a note periodically between now and the next meeting, I will try to visit with Ms. Barrera and Crystal to see what's going on in that regard. Okay. So
And let me,
I fall down in that regard. That's my fault. Okay.
and I would like to have, I make a motion to reopen the approval of the minutes and to amend the minutes from the last meeting to state the meeting was held by Zoom and provided to the public via YouTube.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, was that a nay, Judge Ellison?
No, I said aye.
Oh, okay, okay. It didn't come in till the nays. I wasn't sure. You kind of froze. For that.
That's my unstable internet connection. I'm sorry, folks. I apologize to you. But,
All right, so I'll use that if I need to make the vote come out in my favor sometime and blame it on your internet connection. All right, anything else? Do we need to reschedule, Mr. Rios? How quickly do we need to get on this personnel thing? Do we need to repost and get this done?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At least by June, for sure.
Okay, so I think our meeting, what are we doing? What do we decide next week? Are we going to meet Friday afternoon with Atascosa County or when? Or has that been carved in stone? They were wanting to meet while we were at the
can't
seminar.
do it. We can't do it because you and I are at that conference next week.
Right, but I'm just thinking now, we don't have to drive back from Dallas or Houston or anywhere. Yeah, well, we can't do it while it's on. Is it all day, 2 days, or do you know?
And it's all day, 2 days. And if you want your credit, you got to be there for the beginning of every session and sign in every session.
Okay.
I think that Judge.
And I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I am on my JLE or whatever they call it, but I know that over the years, I've always gone to the regional conference and the statewide conference, and nobody's ever thrown a rock at me about my
Hours.
education. And so apparently by doing that, I get it all covered without sitting down and adding things up from year to year. So
Okay.
I
The,
intend to get all of it.
the 17th at 2 p.m. is that meeting in Atascosa County.
Okay.
What is?
How do you know that? And we don't.
Judge Hurley contacted me.
All right.
This is on the medical examiner's transport.
No.
Oh, it's a different meeting then.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
juvenile,
we're
Atascosa
talking-
Juvenile
We're
Board.
talking about a juvenile board meeting for the Atascosa County Juvenile Board.
Oh,
All right, Mr. Rios, I guess I would just ask you to get with the coordinator for Judge Ellison and I and with Judge Jackson, Judge Hetzke, or their folks, and see when this could be scheduled. I know next Friday is not good because we've already put Atascosa off.
next week, Judge Hedke and I will probably be in Corpus.
We will be.
See, district judges
What's
didn't
the
have the
board?
clout to meet in person and get some mileage reimbursement. We're doing this over the internet.
What's in Corpus?
Probate.
A probate academy and fishing? Oh, no, just a probate academy.
I got something here y'all might be interested in. I don't know if y'all got it or not, but I saw it and I went, man, that sounds good. Except I've lost my mind and I can't find what I did with it now, but it was some big old reception in Corpus by some rich lawyers at the yacht club.
I would
let me
not
see
be
if this is it
We're
here.
not rich enough and we're not lawyers, so we're out.
Judges, judicial officers.
It was invited, no, it was lawyers inviting the judiciary at all levels to come to a cocktail party at the yacht club.
Are you gonna have your
I tell
yacht?
you what, chances of people getting me into a yacht club for any reason are not real high, but I'd pass it on to y'all if y'all were interested. Even if I was standing in front of the building, I'm more than likely I wouldn't go in. Okay, so I feel out of place at those things. So
All right.
anyway, well, y'all have to be careful while you're down there. All right.
Okay, and Mr. Rios, have you had a chance to download the things I posted in chat?
Sir, I don't even see anything that came out. in chat.
Rick, I'll get them to you. I've downloaded them.
Okay. And you've got examples too from
Yeah.
the past, just to, okay,
I didn't download them from, is there any reason I need to?
I'm sorry?
I did not download them. Is there any reason I need to?
If you
No.
need it, Dickie, I've got them.
I was just,
I mean, I can, but
Dickie, I was just posting a sample of previous
that's what I,
agendas that show, consider and take action on, the difference between just a discuss and an action item.
that's what I was under the
I
impression.
downloaded the previous
I did.
minutes, but I don't know where they went after I did. I downloaded the previous minutes, but I don't know where they went. So I couldn't find them right now if I needed them, but I got a little green check by mine, and which means I think I downloaded it. So
Yes, and let me, well, I think that's actually to a different meeting. Let me post, well, my computer will start working. Let me post my signed copy of the agenda.
Right, and I had some of the previous meetings, it's just what was left behind wasn't a whole lot on the agenda. So it was hard for me to get a little direction on how to do it. So again, I apologize, I'll be better prepared next week.
I didn't think that, I could have thought that, hey, you have never done this.
we have a old business, new business, not to be action taken on
Yes,
part of this, so I could ask Rios a question.
The old business is no action, and that's the supplement for Tom Duknick and Michelle Saleas until we hear back.
I just, Mr. Rios, I'm gonna ask it anyway. If I get in trouble, y'all can come visit me in jail. Your certification going okay, sir? You on track?
I'm on track, as a matter of fact, I'm probably within 8 hours of finishing at this point. So yes, I am on track. I should be done, I'm gonna guess by next week. And to be honest with you, I probably should already be done. It's just, some of the things that have come across my table, I haven't had a chance to sit in on the webinars that I was supposed to sit in on, because I've had other things more pressing. If not, I would have been done. As far as my OJT, all those hours are already done.
Wow, that's
I
fast.
just want you to know that I'm not pressing you to do it any quicker than you possibly can. I'm really asking
Yes,
you
sir.
to compliment on what you're doing and what you were willing to take on as a workload as well as an educational load, and I admire you for it. Okay.
It's a big
and,
change of mid-career.
So we'll work with you. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Okay.
And Judge Hetke, I just posted the
I'm sure.
new minutes to you with my signature, and that changed to them.
I don't know where that is. Pretty fancy invitation.
I don't know if I got one or not. It'd be over there.
Okay, so I should have, there's only 5 and I've got them now. I've got all 5 of them. So if one of you needs them, Rick, I'll have them here. I'll print them or email them to you. Judge Jackson, if you need them, I've got them too.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Is that everything we have?
I think that's it. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Well, before we adjourn,
Yes, Dickie.
okay,
Just a second.
you gonna pass the minutes around for all of us to sign?
I just posted them.
Oh. Okay,
Now, in other counties, they just have the chair sign them, but I'm happy for as many people as want to.
I will sign mine.
So you want me to just sign these and then email them directly back to you, Russell?
No, I don't want them.
I want to email mine to Wade,
Mr. Rios, sorry.
and he can get them to Rick.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want. All right, I'll leave mine. Okay, you send yours to Judge Hetke, and I'll send mine to Mr. Rios, and we'll spread the wealth out a little bit. Okay.
I'm not the custodian of records of anything except what the IRS says.
True statement.
Hold on.
Okay.
Elsa, just 1 minute. I'm sorry.
All right. So has everybody downloaded those? All right. And I'm going to end the meeting. Good to see
I
everybody.
second Wade's motion.
Oh, we never had a vote. We got to have a vote. Okay.
Motion in a second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you all.
All right.
Y'all.
We're adjourned.